Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, it's Bryan Eisenberg. Welcome to Rock Solid. I'm here with my friend Tanner O'Brien from ActionCOACH. Tanner, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. It's been fun to watch, the progression of this podcast over, the last few months and so I'm excited to be here and be chatting with you.
I really appreciate it because I'm so used to only seeing you bright and early in the morning for 1 million cups. I think this is the first time after like 8:30 in the morning that I've seen you.
Yeah, I've had a few more cups of coffee. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Actually, let's start there. Let's start with the million cups because you've been involved with it since just about the beginning of it?
Not quite, but it's been probably close to 2 years now, or year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around there, that I've had the opportunity to be a part of that program.
So tell us a little bit about that for people who are not familiar with the Million Cups and why it's such a great program for our community.
Yeah, it's been really a lot of fun. I got to give a shout out to Bill Combs. He was the first one that said, "Hey, you should come in and check this out." Replaced me as MC. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come in and give that a shot. So came in and for those that aren't familiar with 1 Million Cups, 1 Million Cups is essentially a entrepreneurship program here in the community. They run this thing all across the nation, right? It's 1 Million Cups. Essentially, the idea is that there's 1 million entrepreneurs having a cup of coffee at least once a month. I think in some communities they do it a little bit more frequently than that. But it's really, we have got one presenter that comes in. They get to speak for about 6 minutes on kind of their business idea and the thing that they're working on and get to workshop it. So they get 6 minutes to kind of talk about here's what I'm working on, and here's like 3 or 4 questions that I could really use some feedback on. I could really use some guidance on, and you get to source that from the crowd. Mm-hmm. I got to say, here in Round Rock, it's been fun to see it because that room is always packed. We've always got, like 40, 50 people in the room. So you get so much diversity of feedback and ideas and things like that. So I think from a community standpoint, it's been really fun to see that progression. And we always have really great presenters that, go on and start to implement some of those ideas.
Well, it's interesting because when you think about a 6-minute pitch, either, you're listening to that and you'll be like, oh my God, how do I speak for like 6 minutes? And then others are like, well, how do you condense it down to 6 minutes? What's your big take for businesses who, might be thinking, well, why should I even consider coming to 1 Million Cups or presenting? Like, what's the advantage for them? And like I said, we've seen a wide variety of them while I've been there this past year or so.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer it kind of 2 ways. The first one being, why should you come? I think the networking capability of the entrepreneur network within Round Rock, that is probably one of the biggest reasons to at least just attend.
Yep.
Right? You get the chance to connect with other people in the community when you've got a room of 30, 40, 50 people every single month and half the room tends to be new. I mean, you get a chance to meet some different folks. So I think for the first piece, it's come in and do the networking, actually connect with different people in the community. The second piece is if you're thinking about presenting or you just want to see what the presenting piece is about, you get to hear different business ideas. You get to get, the best thing I love about kind of the coaching space in general is not always the coaching that happens for the individual, but the coaching that you get to hear, right? It's like, no, go back to that. I haven't heard, I might be facing that same problem in my business. So it kind of gives that same thing. It's like, oh, we're dealing with how to get more leads within the business. Well, what are some ideas that kind of come out of the group of that networking group? And so whether you're attending for that piece or you're actually coming in to stand up and be brave and share your idea and different things, there's always great feedback that comes out of that.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
In these last 2 years that you've been kind of involved in emceeing, is there a story or two that really stands out for you?
I think not specifically, but I do remember those that come in with confidence. I think it really is a testament to where the success can be within the business for the individual that does stand up and has the confidence to share share their idea. But not just that, but take the feedback, right? I have seen, probably here's the thing that stands out the most. Those that kind of stand there and take some feedback, but like, I don't like this feedback. Like, I'm not going to do anything with it. And then there's others that either I can see them taking a mental note, or like literally there's been one or two people that will bring up a notepad and they'll just start taking notes. And it's like, that's what we want to see. Those are the things that stand out, because I know that those are the folks that are going to go on and actually take the feedback to heart, figure out what's going to work, and continue to reiterate their idea based on that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised, and hopefully people will hear this and realize this, that so few of them ever set up a tripod and just film themselves and film the audience asking the questions, because getting that feedback afterwards and watching yourself present is so valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, as you mentioned that, I probably don't think about it as much when I'm there, but recognizing that not many do. There have been a few, right? And some have at very least had some sort of, audio recording device or AI recording device so they can kind of take the feedback as it comes. But yeah, to that point, it's so critical, the ability to express your message in a way that resonates and being able to take all that feedback. Like, if you're going to be presenting, or speaking or doing podcasts or things like this, like, do as many as you can and then go back and watch them. It's such a critical piece of getting good at it.
I mean, I was filming Sarav's, that was last month.
Yeah.
Right. And, I often stand in the back of the room. This is my thing. I like to stand in the back of the room and kind of watch people. And I'm watching, and again, right, he got the video because I filmed it for him. But you watch that part where people are starting to shake their heads. And it's like, oh, that's a message that's resonating. Let's keep talking about that more, because that's what people want to hear. And if you're not, I don't think you could do it when you're standing up in front of the room to see all of that. I know as presenting on stages, it's hard to pick those things up. But when you can look back at it, it's so powerful. I'm really curious from your perspective as a coach, and I'm going to talk more about your business in a minute, but as a coach of someone who's looking at all these people, what seems to be the most common questions that people are facing?
Specifically in those earlier stages. So, think of a lot of the businesses that come to 1 million cups. Frankly speaking, a big component of it's going to be marketing and sales. There might be some product development or some ideation that needs to be kind of worked out as they work through the product or the service. But by and large, it's almost always marketing and sales. How do I get in front of the people that I need to get in front of? How do I get more leads? How do I sell them? Like, I don't know how to break into this market. Like, if you were to just distill down every question that we've seen over the last 1.5 to 2 years, probably 70% of them are going to be in that realm. So marketing and sales is probably the number one thing for those earlier on in their business journey.
I often say that most businesses fail not because they don't try hard, because they never take the time to understand what makes customers buy.
Yes. It's such a critical component, right? There's often a lot more learning in that kind of marketing and sales, or understanding what is the customer journey, not just what made them buy the first time, but what made them continue to buy, right? And when we talk about ActionCOACH, we think about the first purchase, you're a shopper.
Yep.
It's not until there's a repeat purchase that you become a customer, because you become accustomed to doing business with you. So all of that journey, there's so much learning that's not taught that, as a business owner jumping into entrepreneurship, you have to go and learn those things. I know for me in my own journey, I knew nothing about marketing, and I had to go learn a tremendous amount of it in order to be able to do it effectively within our business.
Well, let's run into that, because obviously, you work as a business coach as well. It's kind of how you got down here, if I understand correctly.
To a degree, yeah. So a little bit of history on that. I always think this is kind of a little bit of a funny story. So the only reason we're originally moved down here, so originally from North Iowa, moved down here in 2018, and my wife and I had lived up in the Midwest forever, right? Went to school up there, lived there kind of our entire lives up, through the last 7 years ago when we moved down, and we're not winter people, right? I'm not a huge fan of the cold. We don't do winter sports.
Are you glad you don't have to shovel anymore?
I am so glad I don't have to shovel. I will take the 100-degree summer days over having to shovel 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And so we're having this conversation. We're like, no, we're going to move. We don't know where we're going to go yet, but we're going to move. So we were looking at, I think Texas, was on the list, but it might have been like Houston. We were looking at Arizona, a lot in California because my wife's got some family out there, and it just weren't quite sure where we were going to go yet. And then out of the blue, my mom, calls us up and she's like, I'm moving to Round Rock. What? They've never lived outside of Iowa in their entire lives, let alone just the Midwest in general. And she took the Williamson County United Way's CEO job down here. So she moved down early 2018. My dad followed. He had the ActionCOACH business. I was still in banking at this point.
Okay.
And my wife and I go, well, they moved out of the hometown. We got the only grandkids across any side of the family. Like, what are we still doing here? We're moving, like, for sure now. There's nothing that's going to stop us. And my mom calls me up and she's like, hey, before you make any decisions, why don't you make one trip down here and just see what this area's about? Because this was not on my radar at all. I'm like, okay, cool. So Labor Day weekend, 2018, I'm making a trip down. It's just me. My wife did not come down with me. She was
That's a lot of trust in you there.
Yes. Our daughter was 3 months old at that point. So I come down, take one weekend trip, get off the plane, take me up to Georgetown. We go to Blue Corn Harvest. I'm like, all right, good food right off the bat, and just got to tour the area. And I fell in love. It was like, this is absolutely amazing. I can't see us going anywhere else. Signed a lease, moved a month later.
What is it that you saw that just sparked that love?
Progress. Honestly, it was the progress in this area from a business perspective, from a housing perspective, from what I later learned is all a community-driven thing. But when you come from a really small town up in Iowa, now I want to preface this for those, like, we're talking 26, 27,000 people, largest city in 2 hours in any direction, hasn't grown in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And being able to come down to a place where everywhere is growing. And, there's new houses going up everywhere. And the people are so friendly still. It's still that Midwest vibe, but with so much more positivity and growth and things like that. And that, to me, was just like, it's night and day difference from what I've ever seen. This is what I want to be a part of.
It's funny. Similar story. My brother moved down here first. We'd been coming down since like 2000. My mentor was down here, but all the way down south by Butte originally. And we just kept traveling back and forth. And then my brother had made the move. We had a crazy landlord in New York City that was literally abusing us, like ringing the bell in the middle of the night, banging the door. It was bad. I mean, I had a blog about it to get leverage. I was on the news about it. He did everything short of being criminal. He was part of the force. I won't go into more details. Anyway, I told my wife, I said, well, we can put everything in the truck. We can keep looking around here, or we can look in the Austin area. And my sister-in-law found an apartment, for like a little house for rent, not far, down a little further south, like central Austin. And we moved sight unseen. And we fell in love, and we just kept venturing further and further north. And the community here is very, very different than any other city. And I've traveled the globe, and there's something very special here.
It has been, the more I've gotten into it, and I've, over the last 2-3 years, I've had the opportunity to go through some different programs, really getting involved here in Round Rock.
Yep.
And being able to kind of see behind the curtain, see what the history has been, see what, even from city politics to just community involvement and different organizations that are here and the Round Rock Chamber. Like, it is amazing to see what they've been able to do and what they continue to be able to do. And I think that's the thing that's so crazy. When I look back at my hometown, like, city council, it's kind of a scary place. Like, it was it was the ones that didn't want any progress. They were going to shut everything down. Yep. It was always a fight. And then seeing how different that is here, seeing the Round Rock Chamber, I got to give them a lot of credit, specifically because my second job out of college was actually working for a Chamber of Commerce up in Iowa. And it was a pretty good chamber. Like, don't get me wrong. But even as one of the stronger chambers up in Iowa, still can't hold a candle to the way that Round Rock is developed. And it's just so cool to see that and be a part of it, and give back in any way that I can.
I'm curious. I think you've been involved in leadership Round Rock and all that, and you're getting that deep dive into what's going on here. What lessons you've taken from seeing what the city has done, what people in the community have done here, how you apply that to the businesses you coach?
Ooh, that's a good question. When I think about what at its core, what are the things, at least from my perspective, the things that I've learned from some of the mentors here in this community, what has made Round Rock successful? I think it's been forward planning, really thinking about not what does the next 2-3 years look like, but what does the next 10, 20, 30 years look like?
That's a great thing for businesses to think about.
Yes. It's been continuity of leadership, being able to develop those that are eventually going to kind of lead that next wave, so that there's always this next level. And it's not about the individual. It's not about, you think of city and politics and things like, it's not about political party. It's not about any of that. It's like, what's the best thing for the community?
Yep.
And that is really kind of shown through. So you jump that back over to the business side of things.
What's best for your customers?
It's exactly the same thing, right? You got to plan for more than just this next year. Yeah, we got to do things on an activity standpoint that's today.
Yep.
But what is the vision for the future? Because when you have the proper vision, then being able to recruit and hire the best team members, retain them, help them take care of the customers, and know that there's that continuity for long term, and then elevate your team up, from a leadership perspective, it's really no different.
Is there anything else, or are those are the two big pillars that
I'd
you
say
see?
those are the big ones.
Those are the big ones.
There's probably a lot more minute detail stuff depending on what you're looking at, but broad strokes, those are going to be the big things that I think really resonate between the two that I see.
Now, you have this business coaching that you do also with your parents. Tell us a little bit about the companies that come to you seeking coaching advice.
So I'll probably preface it with, there's very few people that come thinking they need coaching. It's just a general rule of thumb.
Yep. Even though elite athletes know they need coaching, like the best of the best always know they need.
Yes.
It's unfortunately most people kind of in the day-to-day don't even think about it.
Yeah. And I think that's the key, right? When you're so involved in the business, sometimes you forget to look at what's it like to work on the business, right? That old adage of work on the business rather than in the business. And when we look at who are the businesses that we primarily serve, right? Everything we do is here locally. We've got a few, clients that are outside the area just because of, us coming in from another community previously. But generally speaking, we're a franchise of ActionCOACH. ActionCOACH is a global company. It's been around for 32 years, 84 different countries. It's kind of amazing when you take a step back and go, wow, what a great organization. And we serve this community. We serve Williamson County, most of Central Texas here. And when we look at what are the businesses that we serve, they're traditionally the businesses that are like, I'm kind of stuck. I've gotten to this point. I've had some success, but I'm missing out on some opportunities with my family. I'm still working 60 hours a week, but maybe I'm making a little bit of profit, but it's not quite at the level that I thought I would get when I started into business. And I don't know how to get to the next level. Or I've kind of gotten to that, but now I need to grow to the next level, and I need team members can start taking on this piece. Like, how do I do that, right? So it's the implementation of different systems. So the first one is the profit growth system. Like, we need to increase profitability. It's the way that you reinvest back into all the other aspects of business. But it's installation of different systems that eventually allow you to build a business that can work without you. Because we're all going to exit the business one day, whether we choose to or not. Like it's going to happen. It's inevitable. So we help install systems to do that, right? The businesses that we work with are really those that fit kind of that model. Industry-wise, doesn't matter. You look at a cross-section of businesses, and we've got restaurants, marketing services, manufacturing companies. We've got a client that does like sewer drain cleaning. I mean, you name it, because the fundamentals of the business is ultimately the same. But it's really the mindset of, I'm stuck. I don't quite know how to get to that next level, and I want more out of my life. How do I allow my business to help me get to that point?
If you were to seek out a coach today, what is it that would be that big elephant in the room kind of sitting on your chest that you'd want a coach to be able to say, hey, here's how I can see you getting to that next level?
Yeah. So all full disclosure, we have a coach that coaches us. We choose to invest in the same thing that we do. And we actually just had our coaching session yesterday. Very successful entrepreneur here in the area that used to be an action coach, left action coach, went off and actually built an incredible portfolio of businesses and real estate and things like that, using the tools. Now has kind of come back into the action world. But a lot of it is like, where are we at in the business? And for us today, it's really, there's certain components within our business. How do we start to scale them? We've started to systemize things that work. We've got, what we call the mastery level of understanding how our time's being used. What's the goal of the business? Is our delivery of our service consistent? Do we know our numbers with financials? Marketing and sales is kind of figured out for the most part. Obviously, there's always some tweaking and growth there. Now we've got certain systems and things that are ready for the next stage. And what are the roadblocks that we don't even see that are holding us back from being able to grow that? So a lot of our conversations right now for us individually is that we're ready to take this to the next level. Maybe not the whole thing, but this little component over here. What does that look like? What do we not see in that process? And let's talk through what that looks like so that we can take the next action tomorrow and the next day and the next week.
Because it's all about action.
It's all about action.
It's all about action. I know you've got 2 younger kids. What is it that they love doing in the community with you?
We're probably all, quite homebodies. Don't actually go out and do a ton.
So you moved from the cold and where you couldn't get out to now you can get out every day and you're still staying at home.
Yes.
Old habits are hard to break, I know.
Unfortunately, but no, I mean, what's really cool is we've got 2 kids that are very creative, especially my son. Incredibly creative, loves to work on projects and build things and draw things and things like that. Like, in my opinion, I have no idea where he gets it. It does not come from me. I am a numbers data type guy.
Yep.
But being able to see, where can we get them involved in different things to continue to grow? And specifically, I'm super excited for this summer as we've got them signed up for a few different activities here in Round Rock. I think Braden's doing a animation course and some different things like that this summer. So it's finding ways that we can plug into those passions that they're starting to develop.
That's only because you haven't heard about Brent's, the Round Rock Studios summer camp that he's doing here for young filmmakers and stuff. You guys might have to talk afterwards.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah, because if he's got the creative side and the animation, like that's a good thing. Any parting words of wisdom for some of the entrepreneurs who either in the area and still kind of unsure of how to get that next step going, or thinking about even moving to the area? What would you tell them?
If you're thinking about moving to the area, I think there's very few places probably in the U.S. right now that would be a better fit. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, things like that. There's probably a place for you here. So really give it consideration if that's the case. Words of wisdom or advice for those that are here, are looking at how do I continue to get more involved? How do I get my business to grow? Different things like that. I think, one, know that you're not alone. This community is incredibly connected if you're willing to get into it, right? And that goes from the business side of things and just general community. If you're looking at how do I get more involved in the community, I think, reach out to folks like yourself, reach out to some of the others that are in our network, reach out to me. Let's get you connected, right? I would not be sitting here today. I would not be where I am in this community if it wasn't for those that kind of took me under their wing and showed me what the next step was. And I'm excited to continue to do that for anyone else that needs it, and looking for those that will continue to pull me along in the forward.
If someone wants to reach out to you, maybe they have some questions, go connect through your website, what's the best way to find you?
Best way, I'll give my email, which is Tanner O'Brien at ActionCOACH.com, all lowercase, no apostrophe, anything else like that. But you can find me on the socials. LinkedIn's probably my biggest one. You can just search Tanner O'Brien on LinkedIn. I should pop up. Otherwise, Facebook, things like that's going to be another great one.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Bryan.